The night the little girl walked into the candlelit restaurant, the universe tilted. Rain clung to her thin jacket, her shoes were a size too big, and her eyes carried a bravery far heavier than her small shoulders should have known. She held a folded paper in her fist like a lifeline, and every step she took toward the reserved table felt like a leap across a chasm she didn't understand yet. This was not how a blind date was supposed to begin, and yet it was exactly how everything was about to change. Before the story pulls you deeper, pause for just a moment. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet miracles that happen when people show up for one another, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope tonight, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. The man waiting at the table was used to control. As a self-made millionaire CEO, his life was a calendar of precision, power, and silence. The restaurant had been chosen for its discretion, the time selected between meetings, and the blind date arranged by friends who insisted he had forgotten how to be human somewhere between boardrooms and balance sheets. He had arrived early, dressed impeccably, scanning the room with polite detachment, prepared for a pleasant but forgettable evening. What he was not prepared for was a child approaching his table with the seriousness of someone carrying an adult burden. The girl stopped at the edge of the table and looked up at him, her chin lifted with effort. She placed the folded paper on the white linen as if it were a contract. Her presence was so unexpected that the surrounding noise of clinking glasses and murmured conversations seemed to fade. The man felt something unfamiliar tighten in his chest, a flicker of concern mixed with confusion. This was not annoyance, but something closer to alarm, as if a fragile truth had wandered into his carefully managed world. The paper explained everything. Her mother was sick, too sick to come. The date mattered, though the reasons were left unspoken. The girl had come instead, not to deceive, but to keep a promise. She had practiced walking into the restaurant, practiced being brave, practiced not crying. Her mother had helped her braid her hair earlier that evening, hands trembling with fever, whispering instructions that sounded more like prayers. The girl believed that if she did this right, something important would be saved. The CEO read the note slowly, each word landing with weight. He could have called the waiter, could have ended the confusion with a simple explanation, could have retreated back into his controlled life. Instead, he looked at the girl again and saw the courage etched into her posture. He saw a child standing in for an adult world that had failed to be gentle. For the first time in years, he felt the sharp awareness of another person's vulnerability pierce his armor. He invited her to sit, not as a date, but as a guest. The evening shifted shape. The girl spoke about school, about helping her mother, about the small apartment they shared where the heat sometimes failed and the walls carried the echoes of better days. She spoke with careful optimism, the kind children develop when hope is not a luxury but a necessity. The CEO listened, truly listened, and with every passing minute the restaurant faded further away. He learned that the blind date had been arranged by a coworker of her mother, someone who believed that happiness could be engineered with the right introductions. The mother had hesitated, knowing her illness made promises fragile, but she had agreed anyway, daring to imagine a future not defined by hospital visits and unpaid bills. When her strength failed that evening, the girl had stepped forward without being asked. As dessert arrived untouched, the CEO felt a strange reckoning unfold inside him. His success had been built on ambition sharpened to a blade, on sacrifices that once felt necessary and now felt hollow. He had measured life in quarterly reports and exits, not in moments of quiet bravery. Watching the girl carefully fold her napkin the way she had been taught, he understood that wealth without connection was just another kind of poverty. The night did not end with grand gestures. He ensured the girl got home safely, arranged transportation with a gentleness that surprised even himself, and watched as she disappeared into the rainy street, clutching the promise that she had not failed. When the restaurant door closed behind her, the CEO remained seated for a long time, staring at the empty chair across from him. Something irreversible had begun. In the days that followed, he could not shake the memory. Meetings blurred, numbers lost their meaning, and his penthouse felt colder than usual. He asked discreet questions and learned more about the mother's illness, about the medical bills piling up, about the quiet dignity with which she refused charity. He recognized the pattern all too well. having once clawed his way up from scarcity himself, though time had dulled that memory until now. He reached out, not as a savior, but as a human being who had been reminded of what mattered. He offered help in ways that preserved dignity, leveraging his resources without making them feel like chains. He arranged medical consultations, eased financial pressures, and did so quietly, insisting on anonymity. The mother was suspicious at first, pride wrestling with exhaustion, but the evidence of sincere kindness eventually softened her resistance. When he finally met her, weeks later, it was not in a restaurant but in a small park near their apartment. The mother looked thinner than her photographs, but her eyes were bright with gratitude and something else, a cautious hope she had not allowed herself to feel in a long time. The girl sat between them on a bench, swinging her legs, unaware that she had been the catalyst for a transformation neither adult could have planned. Time passed, not magically but faithfully. Treatments helped. The mother's strength returned in increments, each day a careful step forward. The CEO found himself present in ways he had never practiced before, attending school recitals, learning to cook simple meals, discovering that fulfillment could be found in the mundane rhythms of shared life. His world expanded, not in size, but in depth. The challenges did not vanish. There were setbacks, moments of fear when test results took too long, nights when old habits tempted him to retreat into work. There were whispers from his social circle, confusion about his changed priorities, skepticism about attachments that did not fit his previous narrative. Yet each time doubt surfaced, he remembered the rain-soaked girl walking into the restaurant, choosing courage over fear. The mother, too, struggled with the vulnerability of accepting love when she had built her survival on self-reliance. Trust came slowly, earned through consistency rather than declarations. She watched how he treated her daughter, how patience guided his actions, how respect shaped his choices. Love, when it arrived, did so quietly, like light filling a room at dawn. The turning point came one evening when the girl fell asleep on the couch between them, her breathing steady, her face peaceful. The CEO realized that success had finally found its meaning not in accumulation, but in protection, presence, and care. He understood that the blind date he had reluctantly agreed to had not been a mistake, but a miracle disguised as inconvenience. As the story draws close to its heart, take a moment. If this journey has stirred something in you, if it has reminded you that small acts of courage can rewrite destinies, please tap like, share this video, and subscribe. Your engagement keeps these stories alive and reaching those who need them most. Just before the ending, here is a special request. Please comment below with a single word that describes how this story made you feel. Your words matter more than you know. In the end, the restaurant no longer mattered, nor the original expectations of a blind date. What endured was a family, formed not by plan, but by choice. The girl grew up knowing that bravery could open doors, that kindness could change lives, and that love sometimes arrived wearing unfamiliar faces. The CEO learned that the richest moments were those that could never be bought, only earned through compassion. And somewhere in the quiet unfolding of ordinary days, a promise made in sickness was honored in health, proving that when people show up for one another, even the most unlikely beginnings can lead to extraordinary endings.